Welcome to the September 5th meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingsport. On Royston to come and introduce our speaker so that she can keep her schedule.
It's truly a pleasure to introduce our program today. Been associated from the background many years with it. Been out and toured it recently and took Tony out there to see it and gave him a pitchfork and he did just fine. So today we have Sherri Russell with us. Sherri is the Executive Program Director for Small Miracles Therapeutic Equestrian Center. She's done that since October of 2012, for the past 13 years. She's also been the Program Director of Small Miracles since 2008. In addition to her dual roles of Executive and Program Director, Sherri designs and facilitates the TIC-EAAT, utilizing multiple certifications through the Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship. That's PATH International. Certified Therapeutic Riding Instructor, a mentor, and equine specialist in mental health and learning. She also earned PATH Equine Services for heroes and spinal cord injuries, paralysis, and EAAT specialty certificates. Additionally, Sherri has completed the Natural Lifemanship Fundamentals Training and Trauma-Focused Equine Workshops. She has combined her experiential knowledge, that's a big word, of horse behavior with being a certified life coach specializing in trauma-informed care. Sherri was involved for several years in a nonprofit sector of steering committee and board of directors and mentor with high-risk teens and other EAAT programs prior to Small Miracles. Due to her expertise and validated program success, Sherri has been a keynote speaker at local PSTED town halls. She has a beloved sister with Down syndrome, giving her personal perspective on the care and advocacy needed for families with a member who has a special need. Her membership with American Quarter Horse Association also provides many lesson ideas, such as utilizing the AQHA riding patterns. Sherri incorporates her multiple talents into every program, creating an exciting adventure for all of her students. Sherri is passionate about coaching individuals, including women, children, youth, and military veterans. It's why she has to go back today early, because she has veterans coming in this afternoon for their Friday afternoon programs. Veterans who've experienced trauma, childhood sexual abuse, and loss move forward in reaching for their God-given potential and dreams. She meets and accepts you where you are in life without any judgment, striving to love all unconditionally. Sherri possesses many professional certifications, as we've mentioned, and would be excited to have the opportunity to coach you by partnering with you or without the horse as a member of the team. So they live on volunteers out there. She's also experienced coaching and working along mental health professionals, enhancing their services as one discovers what is the next step for me, as healing takes place during one's journey. Sherri loves God wildly, horses, enjoys hiking with her rescue dogs, Linus and Woodstock, and is an artist expressing life through her network. And she has her sidekick out there daily, JR, who's facilities manager, her husband. And there's no fluff in the program out there, I just tell you. Sherri, come up and talk about it.
Well, thank you very much. I'm overwhelmed by your introduction. So all glory goes to God. That's how I approach everything. So I really appreciate this opportunity to come out and speak about Small Miracles Therapeutic Equestrian Center. We were founded in 1995 by Mary Smith. Some of you might know Mary and Eric. And we're a Christian-based organization. We're a 501c3. And our goal is to help individuals with special needs and disabilities to reach their God-given potential through trauma-informed equine-assisted services. So we serve children, youth, and adults in our program. And as Dawn mentioned, today I have to return for our veterans program, and I'll speak about that in just a moment. So when everybody thinks of therapeutic horsemanship or people with special needs, they kind of think of a child going round and round in the arena on a horse, which we do some of that, but we do a lot of things with intention. We do a lot of things that are evidence-based. So our core program is our therapeutic horsemanship program, and that's either mounted or unmounted. And being a member of United Way of Greater Kingsport, we have a high level of accountability, which I love, because that always helps all of us stretch the program, pray, ask God, what do we need to do? Because as we all know, all of the needs in our community are changing very quickly, especially since COVID. And then again with Hurricane Helene, and then with all of the problems that we have going on in our community. So in that program, we serve children, youth, and adults. It could be either mounted or unmounted. So they learn a lot about themselves. Horses are non-judgmental. They don't care what happened to you. They meet you where you are. They're very calming. They offer a high sense of belonging, a lot of confidence. We work with a lot of children that have been very traumatized. As we know, sex trafficking is a big thing in our region, being kind of centralized in the United States. And I also work with adults that have experienced sex trafficking or sexual abuse, and those wounds you carry along. And they kind of suffer from PTSD. Some of the children have fetal alcohol syndrome on top of that, developmental delays, great lack of trust, which I totally understand. And then we have children, youth, and adults, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, autism, more of the more common things that people think about. But a lot of them also have co-occurring mental health issues, especially since the isolation and the school slide and all those things. A lot of our students lost grandparents, parents, things like that due to COVID. So we want to be there to help them, everybody, where they are. So that program takes place Monday through Thursday from about 12 noon until 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Depends. We try to accommodate everybody's needs. We have a lot of after schoolers that come out, and I have adults that come out during the day. I kind of divvy things up where adults don't take the children's slots, and we have that open for the children and youth in the afternoon. So that's the program that you so generously funded through your grant. If you could just be on my shoulder during the day and see the appreciation of the families and children that we serve, have parents come up to me and say, oh, my child's finally smiling. They're focusing, they're listening, they're doing better in school. They're not locked up in their bedroom on electronics or feeling like they're being stigmatized and bullied and all these sorts of things that go on with them. And then our second program that we have is our Positive Youth Development Program, which is for children and youth from elementary age up through 18 years. And a lot of those children have trauma, special needs, developmental delays, everything kind of blends over. And we work with the Kingsport City School System. We just started a new collaboration with Dobbins-Bennett High School, their Work to Transition program. And right now we have 3 students that are coming out from 1 in the afternoon till 2 with their job coaches, and they're learning how to take care of horses, feed the horses, all those things that are involved with horse care. And I was amazing to see how much they've grown in the past month and how independent and confident they are. And it's just really, really very rewarding. And we love serving our Kingsport community, obviously. So that's our newest collaboration, and that will go through the school year. And then we also cooperate with John Severe's Warriors Academy, and we've been with them for probably about 6 years now. And those are middle schoolers, and they come out and help bring the horses in, feed them, take care of them, learn just like our therapeutic horsemanship program, social emotional learning, personal growth and development. We also have a lot, I was taking Tony and Dawn for a tour after, we have a lot of STEM going on. We have a lot of literacy, reading, mathematics, everything just naturally occurs out there in our environment. And we work with them during the school year, and it was really great last year. It was very rewarding, and we kind of miss them when summer comes. We're excited to see them when school starts back. And the 25 kids we served, only one had a father. So there's a lot of fatherless homes, a lot of incarcerated parents. Sometimes parents or grandparents have passed away from drug misuse, and or they don't, they're couch surfing, they're homeless, they're just living here and there. So when they come to Small Miracles, they find a family, a high sense of belonging. First, they trust the horses, then they trust the humans. And sometimes the weather is iffy in February and March. And they're like, oh, we have to get out there. We have to get out there. We work with Travis Senzabaugh. Probably some of you know him here in the room. And who's going to take care of the horses? They need us. They need us. So it's really great to see these kids bond with us and the horses and trust. And they come hungry sometimes. They don't get food at home. And we give them food. And it's really neat because they're taking care of the horses and feeding them. So they learn how to take care of themselves and feed themselves. And it drives them a reason to perform in the classroom and to come out to Small Miracles. And we had quite a few that were able to reintegrate into the regular classroom and stay there. So we're really excited about that. And the goal of that program is a diversionary program, so they don't end up at Cora Cox or different things like that. So what's really neat is every once in a while a student will come in that's graduated high school and share with us their accomplishments, and that's very, very rewarding. We also work with Link House, residential group home for girls, and we work with Sullivan House, which is a residential group home for boys. And then we also offer various field trips and things like that. So we're always looking for youth collaborations within our Kingsport community area, and that's where your foundation has kicked in and really helped a lot. With our therapeutic horsemanship program, we do not turn away anybody for lack of ability to pay. We only charge $25 per lesson or $200 per 8-week session. We have scholarships which start at zero co-payment up to $3, $25, etc. So that's where your generosity really kicks in, because we do not charge our positive youth development. I mean, these kids are primarily homeless, caught up in the foster care system. We've had kids wait 2 years for a foster home. Really sad. So that you also help with that too, very, very much. And then our third program is our Horses and Power Heroes program. And we have our community program on Friday afternoons for about 12:30 until 4 o'clock. And that is cooperation with the Mountain Home VA. And we have outpatients, we have inpatients, we have veterans through the whole health program. And that program is very close to my heart. My dad was a World War II Korean veteran. He served in the Merchant Marines and the U.S. Army. So for me, that's very personal to be able to honor my dad who's gone on to heaven through that program and understand the veterans. And we've had that in place for 14 years. And then on Mondays, we have a separate female program for female veterans who are very underserved. And then once a month, we work with the Vet Center with females who experience trauma in the military sexual trauma, those sorts of things. So we try to, like I said, serve our community, meet the pressing needs. Our veterans program is pro bono also. They've sacrificed enough for our country. And we certainly would never think of charging our veterans. And we're always eager to try to get the military families together, have them come out to Small Miracles. That's one of our goals a couple of times a year, and enjoy our horses in our facility. So the foundation of our program are our wonderful therapy horses. We have 17 wonderful horses, minis, ponies, you name it, we have the size there. And they work so hard and they love everybody that comes out. If somebody's new, they're like, oh, you're new, I've never met you. And they love that. They're very, very social. They desire to be around people. They're so intuitive. It's just amazing to watch them. They go places where we can't, because oftentimes trust in humans has been abused. It's not there, doesn't exist, or people carry wounds through their lives. And it's really awesome to see the horses jump in there and help establish that sense of belonging, trust, non-judgmental acceptance. Like we said, they just meet you where they are. We're located on 11 beautiful acres. We are debt-free, and we're very excited about that because, as we know, the economy is very tenuous up and down, and we don't have to worry about paying for our buildings and our land and all of that. So does anybody have any questions or anything about our program? And volunteers, we're always looking for volunteers. As you mentioned that, we all started, all the employees there now, we all started as volunteers, and we all have a very, very deep passion for what we do. Yes, sir.
How do referrals come to you? How do the kids and the veterans find out about it, and what's the criteria?
Okay, you can give us a call at 423-349-1111. It's on our brochure. Unfortunately, right now, our website has been hacked. We have someone generously wanting to help us out with that. I do have my email address, which if you call the office, they can give that to you. So sometimes people directly email, they call the office, they're referred back to me. I send off a participant application, or they can come and pick one up. Sometimes we have referrals through mental health counselors, through teachers, speech and language pathologists, physical therapists, occupational therapists, a whole plethora of that. And for the veterans program, sometimes I have people call individually, or they come out through us from the vet center, or they come out from the Mountain Home VA. So we have various sources. And for our positive youth development program, we're pretty well known in the Kingsport community, and the teachers will reach out, or the residential managers of the home will reach out and contact me and see if we can get together and do something.
So I'm showing this little video they had on your YouTube that kind of gives a little tour. And I've got a nice clip of one of the students riding the horse. Uh-oh, my battery's running low.
That's
I
okay.
get that one.
And what's great about our program is we can provide services to those who are not able to ride for various reasons. And that's where all of the relationship building starts. All of our students do mounted or unmounted. If they're able to and they don't have any contraindications where they're not able to ride, it's not safe for them, then they don't ride. But they have a program that is very, very rich, that offers a lot of experiences, a lot of life skills, personal growth development, social, emotional learning. I mean, it's just amazing what the horses can teach us. And then for those that are mounted, that's more where the physical benefits come in. The movement of the horse is the closest to the human movement. It builds some confidence, but it's amazing to see what happens when you combine the two and how far the students move forward in life, reaching their potential. Yes, sir.
Do you accept children that do not necessarily have?
That depends. Sometimes I have students that have emotional, mental health needs. We do not provide able-bodied riding. That's for someone who's typical, who does not have any disabilities. However, the term disabilities and special needs is a big spectrum. If we all thought about it, we're probably all dealing with some type of challenge within the room here. So it all depends. That's where application comes in handy, and I review that and say, well, yes, we can help you. I mean, we've had students come in with problems adjusting to siblings, attachment issues, kids that have moved. There's all various things that occur. So that's when the application, or I speak to that individual, and we make sure that you're a good fit for our program. Yes.
You cover such a wide array of things, children and veterans. How do you train the horses to accommodate all this?
Good question. So God created the horses to be very intuitive. One of the requirements is our horses have to like people. Somebody will call me and say, oh, I have this horse who's been out in the pasture, he hasn't done anything. And I'm like, was he around people? No. So that's automatically really not going to work, because the horse will be overwhelmed. They'll come there like, who are these people? Who are these horses? Get me out of here. So we have like a trial period. So we slowly immerse the horse in our program, or the pony, or the mini, depending on what it is, what type. And you saw the picture of the indoor arena up there. Some of them have never been in an indoor arena. And some of them, they go in there and they're just not going to adjust to it. So obviously they have to be able to adjust to our indoor arena. That's probably the biggest thing. And there's been a few horses over the year. It just makes them uncomfortable. Horses are prey animals. They're not dogs. They're not predators. They just have these natural reactions. So they have to be able to get along with their horses, because we respect and love our horses, and God has placed each and every one of them there. And if they come in and they don't want to get along with this one, you have to work it out. But you can pretty quickly tell. Then it's not fair to our horses to expose them to that, because our program, the horses are the foundation of our program. They're sentient beings. They have thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and we have to respect them and their herd dynamics. And we've just had maybe 3 horses since the time I've been there that it's just not their thing. And it's not fair to that horse either. If they don't want to come, then they don't, we have to respect that too, because no horse raises its hoof and say, hey, I want to leave and go live at Small Miracles. And we've had some rescue horses, horses on lease, and things like that. So we do have a fair amount of horses that only do unmounted work. It gives them a job and a purpose. They're not rideable, but their hearts are huge, and they love the socialization. We have little minis, and we actually have Little Bit there who started the program. He's like 38, 39 years old. He's our grandpa, and he's full of life. And then we have, all different horses. We do have horses that we ride and do unmounted work. So there's a lot of things that go into that. And we have a horse evaluation process we go through. And also our horses receive excellent veterinary care through Mountain Empire Large Animal Hospital. We have a great relationship with them. And whatever horses need, we provide for them, including when it comes toward end of life and they need hospice care. We go through that, and we bury them on property. And that's powerful because a lot of us have lost a loved one, and we need to work through the grief for our children. And we know everybody's watching how we're handling these horses. Do we really love our horses? Do we really love and care about each other and community? So, yes, ma'am.
If you have a child that is involved in the school system, is that the best way for them to have a referral to their teacher, or can they be a self-referral?
They can be a self-referral, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, sir.
I wonder if you could give us a little bit more information on your work that you've done in the past and the present with veterans.
Absolutely. We started our veterans program 14 years ago, and it's so far from where it was 14 years ago to now. I found through my experience, first pray, ask God, what would he like you to do with that particular individual? Because they do have some commonalities as a group, maybe post-traumatic stress disorder, combat stressors, misuse of alcohol and drugs, because that's kind of how they handled everything they went through while they're in combat. That's a very common thing for that. So we're constantly changing what we call our outcomes and indicators and what we measure. But most of all, the most important thing is to be a great listener. Listen to what the veteran is asking. Listen for their needs, because everybody is very unique and has different needs. A lot of it depends on what branch of the military they served in, what their deployment was, what their MOS was. So many factors go into it. And when I first started this program, or we started it together with the VA, we had some Vietnam veterans, which is my era, growing up in that. And then even, and we had Agent Orange, and we did have some come out for hospice care while they were unfortunately experiencing the effects of Agent Orange. And then we have Afghanistan veterans, Iraqi veterans, Desert Storm, all the way up to current. And every deployment and every era has its own challenges. So we meet them where they are, but again, the common thread is that they're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. So that sense of safety, I'd love for everybody to come out to Small Miracles one day. We have a very safe environment. We provide that on Fridays, especially. If somebody pulls into the parking lot, they'll say, Sherri, there's a car out there. It's red. I don't recognize it. One day I got up 5 times and I said, look, this is the last time. So they actually know who's there and who's not there, who belongs, who doesn't belong. And that's just part of their training. You have to be hyper vigilant, obviously. You can't be asleep at the wheel in the military. So each era brings its own needs. And I had a very wise person coach me, look at everybody as they have PTSD. So when you have PTSD, I don't know if anybody in the room suffers from that. You become hyper vigilant, you have racing thoughts, you need everything to kind of be the same. You need that sense of safety. You need to be able to calm and relax. Well, the horse, when you groom them and you're around them, you automatically come down. I have a veteran that we worked with, Jerry. He's spoken several times with United Way on how the program benefited him, And he has a family, and they're in high school now. When I met him, they were little kids, and he had a very rough deployment in the Navy and intelligence in Afghanistan. And, he would talk about going without food and eating bugs and, constant state of hypervigilance, constant racing thoughts, constant suicidal thoughts. And he literally was locked into his bedroom for 5 years drinking. And he just didn't want to face his kids and, all the shame and all the moral wounding and injury that's involved in war, because they did things that we would never do here in this country. So he came out to Small Miracles. It was January and it was cold. And we're in our indoor arena, and we have some ventilators that tend to flap. And that thing flapped and the horses went up, the noise, they're prey animals, and it came back down. And he couldn't believe it. He says, ordinarily I would hit the ground. He said, this has been the most therapeutic thing for me to ever happen, because he had a sense of purpose that he could hang on to that animal and, help the animal go through that flapping sound. So he's participated in our program for many, many years. And he shared with us, this program saved my life, which may sound exaggerated to some, but Jerry really means it. He said, if this program didn't work and I got out of the VA, I was going to go home and take my life. I'm at the end. So a lot of times it's very impactful, more impactful than we think it is, as civilians or people who provide services to someone. And like, I know his wife and I know his children, you get to know the whole family, because it's just not that particular person suffering from PTSD. It's that whole entire family unit that is dealing with that. And he's been able to get a job and hold that down and be successful. You have little ups and downs, because healing is nonlinear. It's a continuous process, and you reach new levels and you go back a little bit and you reach another level. So, and the horses were the ones to be able to reach him. And we were able to work with him and work with his therapist and his social workers too.